Hey everyone, welcome to the 2024 page speed performance video about WordPress websites. We're going to be covering tips and tricks to help you out with Elementor websites, but also non-Elementor as well. Now, is page speed performance really important? Obviously, I'm going to say yes. Now, if you care about your visitors when they land on your website, is the page lagging? Is it slow to load the images or the videos? Because a bad experience can affect how long people stay on your website. Sometimes, if your website needs to be built a certain way and it must look a certain way and have certain features, and page speed performance can take a little bit of a back seat. So if you know you're always going to get 10,000 hits every day on your website, no matter what you do or how it looks, because people have to go there to buy something, you could get away with a score of 30-20%. But if you're a new business or you're trying to make it out there in a very competitive market, then you don't want to be launching a website where someone goes to it and it is slow to load. Now, as you're watching this, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and follow, and let other people know about our video. And please pay attention to the timestamps in the video description. Let's get started and have a look at the website that we're going to be working on. This is a WordPress website built with Elementor. Okay, and I've tried to put on quite a few things, and of course, please don't have a go at me about the style or the colors or how it looks. We've got a hero banner with a background color, text, button, and an image, and we've got a video, got a loop grid. We have another loop grid, but this is now using WooCommerce product. This website has got more than just Elementor on here. And if I show you the active plugins, we've got Elementor, Elementor Pro, Rank Math, WooCommerce, and I went and added in a payment gateway. Because if I just went and did this page speed performance just using Elementor or even Bricks or Gutenberg or anything like that, and I didn't add in WooCommerce, that's slightly ignoring the fact that when you do go and add stuff like Rank Math and WooCommerce in, it can slightly affect your score. Back over to the page, I want to point out that when we were building this, we were checking how did it look in the mobile as well. And that's really important whenever you're building any WordPress website. Don't build it from start to finish, get to the end of maybe a 20-page website and then go, I need to check how it looks in the mobile. Do it as you go along. You'll notice I have not got a video or a carousel over in the hero banner. I've got them further down. Having a carousel or a slide or a video right at your top of your hero banner can cause a momentary 1 to 2 second delay with loading, and that can put some viewers off. So let's run through the tips. I'm going to go through some basic WordPress ones, then I'm going to go through Elementor specific, then we're going to look at other things that you can add onto your WordPress website, and then we'll move on to the one-stop solutions. And please do look at the timestamps if you want to skip or remind yourself of any of these tricks, tips, or hints, widgets, elements, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. Go and check the timestamp. The first tip is your WordPress media. Go to your WordPress dashboard, go to settings and go to media. And here's the settings I advise. Now, when you add an image to your media library, WordPress creates a copy in your backend files and database. So in your library or your media, you might see just one image, but in the backend, there's like 6 or 7 of them. You don't need that. Now, in the past, I would say zero out all of these and untick all of these boxes. I still do that on loads of my websites. To keep everyone happy, keep your thumbnail size in, but zero out your medium and your large sizes. You don't need to worry about it. When it comes to images, make sure you're using WebP. Don't make the mistake of just dragging in PNG and JPEGs. PNG files can be super big. It could be a 3 megabyte file. The JPEG might be half of that, 1.5, but a WebP image could be something that is 9, 10, even 5% of what the PNG was. You'll be really surprised. And what I recommend you do is you go and grab your images and go and use BulkResizePhotos.com. And all you do is go and pick your images, leave your size at 100%, but make sure the image format is set to WebP. Now, in terms of quality, I like to go for 80%, at least hit start. That was 11 images, totaling 9.3 megabytes. It's now condensed it down to 480 kilobytes. Those images will be sent to my downloads folder, and when I drag them into here, they will be WebP format. Seriously, you've got to use WebP format, because if I had added those images onto my page, all 11, that's 9.3 megabytes that's being rendered and loaded. If I now use the WebP format and I might resize and crop them a bit, that's 480 kilobytes. Now, don't get me wrong, there are other solutions you could use like Optimal, EWW, Tiny PNG, Smush. The reason I like to use BulkResizePhotos.com is because it is free, because the other solutions, there is often a cost or a premium package you have to take out. The third WordPress tip is how you custom load your fonts. Now, we are using Elementor over here, and we can see that we have custom fonts, and I've already loaded in the Railway. Now, if you're using Bricks or any other solution, custom load your fonts, because if you just go and use the fonts that come with your page build or even within Gutenberg or WordPress, you're fetching them from Google. And you might sit there and go, well, what's the problem with that, as long as it renders on the website? And there is a bit of an issue over GDPR and privacy and all of that, but at the same time, you're adding in a split-second delay, and sometimes when someone looks at a website on a desktop, especially on a mobile, they might notice a swap. It's like it loads up Roboto or something, and then it switches to the font you want. So what you should do is custom load them. And if you're using Elementor, it's dead easy. You go and hit add new, you give it a name, and then you go and add in a font variation. So let's say I'm going to add one in for the weight 500. I would then go and upload the WAF2 file. And if I click upload, you'll notice I've already got two here because I've added them in at this point. And that's one way of getting your WAF2 custom loaded font in. Now, some of you might not understand WAF2, and you may be familiar with TTF. TTF files can be 5 times the size of a WAF2. So let's say you go and get Railway from the Google Fonts website, it might be 120 kilobytes. When you compress and convert it to be a WAF2, it could be 20 kilobytes. And again, that makes a difference to page speed loading. But what if you can only get the TTF file? Well, where do I go to get WAF2? Really simple and easy, and remember, all the links and things I talk about are in the video description. Go to the FontSquirrel website, go to Web Font Generator, go and upload your fonts, which may be in a TTF format, leave it on optimal, and then you go and convert. And it takes like 30 seconds, and it will give you the WAF2 format. So don't make the mistake of just using TTF files, always use WAF2. Those were my simple WordPress tips, alright? Your media settings, your WebP images, and custom load your font. And that's really simple and easy to do. But what if you're working with an Elementor website? It's no secret that people talk about Elementor bloating your backend website. Well, I can tell you in the last 12 months, Elementor have seriously improved things, but there are some things you must do with your Elementor website in terms of your settings and your features just to improve things. So inside your WordPress dashboard, go to Elementor, go to Settings, go over to the Advanced tab, and ensure that your Google fonts are set to disable. I will also not load the Font Awesome for support. You don't need it, okay? Most of your icons are Font Awesome 5 anyway. The only reason why I'm enabling the unfiltered file uploads is because I am using SVG, which is what the logo was. So if you are going to use SVG, go and enable it. Then go over to the Features tab. You may disagree with some of the items I've set to inactive, but if you're not using it on your website, why do you need it to be loaded or activated? So inline font icons, I have activated that. Optimize Gutenberg loading, I've activated that. My nested elements is activated because I was kind of using it, or I may use it within my loop grids or accordion or tabs. Now, lazy load background images was an improvement Elementor introduced, but I've made that inactive because I'm going to be using other optimized solutions, which I'm going to share with you later on. That being said though, the optimized image loading is activated. So have a look at my settings, okay? And like I said, if you don't agree with them, play around and test it out. I'm not using a mega menu, so that's inactive, and my taxonomy filter, for the purpose of this video, I wasn't using it, so I've just made that inactive. Make sure you've activated the optimized DOM output, the improved asset loading, and the improved CSS loading. And of course, the Flexbox container if you intend to use it. And then you'll notice after that, nearly everything else is inactive because I'm not using them. Okay, great, but what does this mean for your page speed insights? Remember, all I've done is the basic WordPress settings and the Elementor basic settings and some features. That's all I've done. And you remember what my page had? It had video, carousel, quite a few items going on there. Let me now show you the score. And this may surprise some of you. Elementor have really improved things. Now, if you were to do this with Bricks, I'm pretty sure you'd hit 99 or 100%. Breakdowns, Gutenberg, loads of other solutions out there. But just focusing on Elementor, with just what I've shown you, you can hit 94% on the desktop. But on the mobile, we take take a little bit of a hit, down to 76%. But I'm going to tell you the same thing I say to clients and other people. Anything over 70 is reasonable, it's acceptable for page speed performance. When you hit over 80, that is good. When you hit over 90, that is impressive. When you hit 100%,
that is astounding.
Anything over 70 is okay. So without us doing any other major page speed optimization in terms of other plugins, we got 94 on the desktop and 76 on the mobile. But let's now boost that. Ta-da! We've gone and added in several plugins, and we've got code snippets that you can download for free. We've got FastPress that you can get for free. We've got WP Fastest Cache that you can get for free. And we've got WP Meteor. However, note it's not activated because I'm going to come back onto that in a moment. Let's first go over to the FastPress plugin that you can get for free. And the settings for this are so simple, it's laughable. You can see what I have activated and not activated, okay? And I'm not going to go through all of them because you can see them on the screen. So you can see what's happening here. Down when we get to the images, I am optimizing them, the tags and the CSS, but I am not lazy loading. Mainly because lazy loading can delay how images load in the hero banner or round about that region, especially on the mobile. And I know Elementor gives you a facility to stop that as well, and I'm going to show you the better way of doing it in my next plugin, which is basically code snippets. But for FastPress, have a look at my settings that I've got over here. Everything is on for HTML, CSS, and JS. That's basically it. I'm then going to go to the WP Fastest Cache. Now, I used to use this 2 years ago, then I stopped using it. I've now gone back on myself. Now, the free version only allows you to touch the settings tab. For all the other tabs, you do need the premium, but I'm telling you now, you probably won't need to worry about that, especially if you've followed my tips on custom loading your fonts, WebP images. You've got FastPress already and some other code snippets that I'm going to show you. But here are my settings, and the two things you really must watch out for with every optimization tool you use: do not combine CSS and JS, because when you start to use other solutions, Breakdance Bricks, Elementor, or anything else out there, when you combine, you're actually going to cause a bit of a problem. Like your nav menu might not be working, an animation might not load up. That usually happens when you're combining CSS and JS JavaScript, so make sure they are unticked. Before we go to the code snippets, let me address why WP Meteor is here. I'm going to activate it. In terms of settings, you could really reduce the way JavaScripts load, so delay until first interaction, or you could add a 2-second, 1-second delay. And there's a reason why I'm not activating this. I have found that WP Meteor is quite brutal. It's really good. Don't get me wrong, right? Developers, if you're watching this, this is a super plugin. You might have a video on your page and the video doesn't autoplay, or maybe it doesn't even render. So there's just like a blank space. There's nothing there. And it's because of the harshness and how brutal this is in terms of delaying certain things from rendering or loading up. And for that reason, that's why I'm not activating it. Now, you can still use this on a very simple website and get away with it. But if you have got carousels or videos, or you notice your nav menu isn't working right, my tip to you is to go and reduce the settings until you get to LCP. You might be okay on 1 or 2 seconds, or completely deactivate. Now, just to explain, what does the 2-second delay actually mean? You go to your website on mobile, you click the toggle, but nothing happens. And I bet if you loaded up the page, waited 2 seconds, now when you click it, the toggle does open. But for some people, that 2-second, 1-second delay might be a pain in the ass. I recommend using it if you've got a very simple website. Now let's go to the juicy one, code snippets, and you can get this plugin for free. And I have got various snippets. Now there'll be a link in the video description for you to go and get hold of these codes, and some of these are Elementor specific, but I do give you a standard WordPress version as well. In the link, when you click, you'll see it on the page. So if you're not using Elementor, go and use the WordPress version. I make that very clear on the page that you'll be going to. Remove unused CSS. You're just going to basically paste this in. You don't need to modify the code. I mean, there is going to be a version of this, by the way, for WordPress, like I've said, but you would take the version you need, paste it in, give it a title, save changes, and then activate. And that will sort out unused CSS. Now, web font load is really important. We custom loaded our font, but even then, you need to give it a bit of a push to ensure it preloads it. And what this bit of script does is it will preload. You don't need to state your font in here. You don't need to put Montserrat Railway pop-ins and anything like that. Just take the relevant version from the link, paste it in and activate. Reduce revisions. Many of you sometimes get an error like a 500 one, and it might be your PHP memory limit, or it might be a plugin or something. 9 times out of 10, the problem is because every time you create a page and you're modifying it, WordPress keeps a copy of it like a revision. And I'm not talking about the history tab, because this will affect Brick's websites as well. If you do not control the revisions of your WordPress sites, they just build up, and you could easily have 1,000 revisions that you never knew about. What this bit of code does is stop those revisions building up. So I've said do not keep more than 3. And I know it says post, but this relates to post and pages. Stop lazy load. Basically, just stop the lazy load. I want to be in control of what images or items I want to lazy load. I don't want to know that my score dropped down because a hero banner image went and lazy loaded when I didn't want it to. So stop the lazy load. WebP convert. This is quite a new one that you may take interest in. So I've already shown you BulkResizePhotos.com. Well, that's great if you're in control of the images. But what if you've got a user, like you've got other people working on your website, maybe this is a directory, and they're uploading images, but they're not following the rules with tiny PNG or even BulkResizePhotos.com. When you activate that snippet and you drop an image into here, it automatically converts it into WebP format. Talk about a time saver there. Just like I said, remove unused CSS. We've got a bit of code for removing unused JavaScript as well. We've also got an item down here for removing Google fonts. Now, inside of Elementor, there was a setting that said do not load Google fonts. That's fine, I've got it activated. But you know what? I want to be double sure. So I've got a snippet in there to ensure no Google fonts are loaded. Now there are 2 items over here that are unactivated. One of them is purge site. Because I'm now using WP fastest cache again, I have the option over here to delete the cache, which you should regularly do, you know, now and again. And by the way, I should point out that when you are deleting your cache or you are working with an Elementor website, regularly go to Elementor, go to Tools, and regenerate your files and data. It is super quick, but make sure you do that regularly. Because I've got this other plugin activated, I don't need to have purge site. But if you were not using like a purging plugin, or you didn't have that facility, and you wanted to have a purge site button over here, if you go and use this bit of code, and again, it's in the video description, you can go and activate that, and you'll have a purge button over here. Now, in the past, Page Speed Insights did used to point out explicit width and height problems. I have found right now with Elementor as it is and other solutions as well, and everything I've shown you up to this point, I do not need to have this snippet activated. However, if you did want to use it, go and add it in and activate. Just bear in mind though, this snippet can affect carousels. Even if you did have the warning, the hit on your Page Speed Insights is so minimal, I often sometimes wonder, is it worth adding in anyway? So that is my go-to list for my snippets, and yeah, there's quite a bit there, but it's so quick and easy for you to add them in and activate. So we had the basic WordPress tips, then I went and did the Elementor settings and features. Now I've got a FastPress and WP fastest cache, and I've gone and added in a junk load of code snippets. What does that do to my score now? There's the desktop score, and I've also gone and put in the full screen dump of what the website is, so someone doesn't go, oh, you've only got one hero banner. No, there's the full page with the carousel, the video, you know, we had a loop grid there, and we had a WooCommerce loop grid. Don't forget, this website's got WooCommerce activated as well. I'm not kidding you or messing around or faking it. We get 100% score. Now, I'm not going to lie. Your score will jump around between 90, 95, and 100. Server speed plays a part. If you've got cookie consent tools, Google tags, or Facebook pixels or things loaded, they could drop your score by 20 to 30%. But if you know about it and you knew your website was hitting a decent score, then get on with it, right? Just let it go. Just live your life. Don't care about it. And like I said right at the start, even if your website score was 30, 40%, but it had to look a certain way for you or the client, and you people were going to come to the website. And when you're out in the real world on your phone or wherever, things are loading and things are working. Don't sit there panicking. Oh, I'm only getting 95%. I want to get 99. There's no prizes out there, right? There's no league table. So don't bank on hitting a really high score. But what about the mobile? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I know it's not 100. It's 99. You can see the full screen screen dump. I know that when I look at that page on the mobile or out and about, it is absolutely fine. And I'm okay with that because I've not used any premium plugin optimization solution. Everything I've shown you right now is free. And if you get into the habit of doing a lot of these things as good practice, you'll be fine with your WordPress website. And I hope you appreciate that before I did loads of this, the score wasn't too bad. I mean, okay, it was 76, now we're at 99. But again, server speed can play a part. I am on a SiteGround server. The score does bobble around. Sometimes it goes down to 89. You know, it happens. And then I run it again half an hour later and it's 96 or 99 or even 92, even 100. So you can get your website to a really good speed if you just do a little bit of effort. But I did mention one-stop solutions and they're not always my favorite to use. And I'm going to show you 4 of them. 3 you will be aware of. And then there's going to be another one, the 4th one, that a lot of you have probably never heard about, and I really think you need to keep your eyes out on it. The first one is WP Rocket. And WP Rocket does not have a free version. It's very well known. It does a load of things that we kind of already cover off with the code snippets. But if you did not want to put in that effort and you just wanted to load up a plugin, go and get WP Rocket. The downside to it though is $59 per year per website. There is no free version. There is no light version. It's $59 per year per website. The second one is NitroPack, and I have more of a hate than love relationship with this because I'm not too sure or convinced about its methods. I feel like it's delaying stuff from being loaded and it's almost scoring you on a blank page. That's just my opinion, by the way. I know there's other people out there that do like using it. Now, you can get a free version for this. However, the free version is restricted to 5,000 page views. And if you've got multiple websites that are all connected to the same NitroPack account, it's actually shared resources. So 5,000 page views per month, and you got 5 websites. If each of them hit or exceed 1,000 page views per month, the plugin deactivates, which is a little bit pointless. What you'll need to do if you're going to have more than 5,000 is go and upgrade. It's $21 per month, but if you go for the annual package, it works out to be $17.5 per month. But that's quite high compared to what I've already shown you. And then there is the 10 web page speed booster. And again, you can use this for free, but it's only going to optimize 5 pages. So your home page and 4 other pages, which a lot of people could get away with because most of us, do we really care if the contact or the about page isn't optimized? If you've got more than 5 pages and you want to have access to other features, then you're going to have to go for the paid package. And that works out to $14 per month. But if you go on the annual package, it will be $6 per month. So I've given you 3 one-stop solutions: WP Rocket, NitroPack, and 10 Web. But what about the 4th one? It's called Airlift. And I heard about this a couple of years ago and I trialed it out. But since that time, it's massively improved. And I know other people are using this as well. This is completely free. It's not on the WordPress repository yet, but I have spoken to their team and engineers, and they are planning on doing that soon. So I have done a little bit of investigation. It's really easy to use. All you do is sign up for free and it will allow you to download the plugin. You then go and add that to your WordPress website. And once activated, it will take about 5 minutes to kind of go and improve your page speed. And what it does very cleverly is rather than delaying things, it actually reorders the way things are loaded up. So it looks at your JavaScript and all the code that's happening. And yes, it is built to work with Elementor and other WordPress websites. It reorders the loading time, or at what stage or order they load. And it can boost your website to 99 or 100% for your desktop and your mobile. Now, it's not completely there, because I have found that even though your website might score 100%, when you go to look at your website in the real world, you might notice your menu, you've got to click it twice before it opens, the toggle menu bar. Or it might be you've got a carousel and you might notice a bit of a delay. They are forever improving this. Now, I'm not saying you've got to use Airlift, but I am keeping my eye on this because I know lots of people that are using Airlift right now and they have no problems or they've not noticed any issues at all with their website. So I've all the one-stop solutions, Airlift you can use completely for free. But that's if you want a one-stop solution. However, I think a lot of you are probably quite happy doing the tips and tricks and hints I've shown you already. Hey, bulk resize your images or use the code snippet so it loads through automatically. Go and custom load your font. Make sure you get the code snippets in. Have a look and consider FastPress and WP Fastest Cache. And be very careful with how you build your websites. Don't go shoving loads of videos and carousels right at the top. Don't have intersection inside an intersection inside another intersection. Be mindful about how you build your website and you won't have any problems. Now, I'd love to read your comments, and if you have any other hints or tips or tricks, or have you tried this? How did it work for your website? Please like, subscribe, and share. Hey, I'm Imran, Web Squadron. I'll see you soon.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane.